Welcome guys to this tutorial. In this tutorial I will show you how to load the firmware and the configuration file on a motor of the swing table. Why is needed? Because maybe sometime you need a motor as a spare part urgently. It's not ready in stock with the firmware loaded and with the configuration file loaded. So in order to ship it out quickly the same day, we can offer to send the motor to you without software loaded. And this is a procedure that you will need to do at the site, at the customer side, so you must know how to do it. Well, now you must know that we have two files. One is the firmware that is common to every motor, so every of 12 motors have the same firmware, and this is one file to load. And then there is a configuration file that identifies each motor, which one it is, motor 1, motor 2, motor 3, 4, etc., etc. So in case the driver of the motor is completely empty, you will need to load two files, firmware and configuration. If the motor already has the firmware, then I will tell you via email, you will need only to load the configuration file. Then, if you have experience with the swing, you have seen that some motors have a separate driver, the red box. These red boxes, I think there are 3 or 4 in the swing, are identical. The only difference is the configuration file. So to combine the box with the motor 12, with the motor 11, 8 or whatever. So you can have in stock or send as a spare part one box without or with a kind of a configuration, and then you can change the configuration file in order to connect it to another motor. Well, so what we have to do is simply to switch off the swing with the fuse. I will connect now, I will make an example with motor 5. I disconnect the jumpers and connect the service cable. I switch on, and when the system is on, we can jump to the computer, and then I will show you how to do it. Okay, well guys, so in case you need to load the firmware or configuration file onto a motor, we will send you a folder that includes all the configuration file from motor 1 to motor 12, and also SIMP IQ is this one is the firmware. I repeat, this one is common to every driver, so is installed in every driver. The other ones are dedicated to each driver. So for motor 1, we will load this one, M1. Now, how to do it? We open, of course, Composer, open communication, properties, connect. I show you in a previous video how to do these settings and how to open it. And then, if we need to load the firmware, we just load the firmware. We go to Tools, Firmware Download. We browse where is our file. In my case, is on desktop. Desktop. CPU motor file, and I can see only the firmware, so I cannot mistake. I choose it, and then the download will start when you press OK. If you get an error during the download, the first download you try, don't worry, just restart from the beginning and repeat the procedure. As you see, after the first downloading, there is another one. So you have to wait again. And then there is also a third download that is also even faster than the second one, probably. Not so fast actually. Okay, when you get this message, you have to first switch off the swing. So switch it off and then click OK, and it's done. Now, if you want, and normally it's needed, to download also the configuration file, I prefer normally to close Composer, turn on the swing again, now it's turning on, open Composer again, and now you can directly go with this button, open existing application. To choose the file you need, you have to, of course, find the folder where you have all the files. Mine is on desktop, swing motors. And I can see now all the configuration file for every motor. I cannot see the firmware, even if it's in the same folder, because this is to download only the configuration file. I am connected to the motor 5, that is the FFD, focal distance. I choose it and click download. It's not connected. So if you get the error, you go to change properties of RS232 and connect, was not connected, and now I can download. Main relay close, open in the cabinet of swing. This download is faster than the firmware, of course, because it's a smaller file, and now it's finished. Now I can verify with the two commands VR if the firmware is loaded, is present on my driver, and actually I can see the version, so it's okay. And with the other command, pp square 13 close square, I can see that is actually motor 5. So the driver has been programmed as motor 5. So everything is correct. You can close, switch off the swing, remove the service cable, and put again the jumpers on the connector of the motor. And that's all. Bye bye.